You know, Benjamin Franklin once said that in this world nothing is certain except death, taxes, and the DCEU being controversial. Superman 2025 is no exception to that quote that I totally didn't make up, with the Snyder and Gunn fan bases going back and forth over whose cinematic universe is better, comparing styles, tones, cinematography, and even going after the Superman actors themselves, with one side actively mocking how Cavill was mistreated by Warner Brothers and the other deciding to coin Corn Sweat as Diaper Man. Shit, even James Gunn himself couldn't help jumping into the fray, deciding to make inflammatory comments regarding Superman as a character and the current political landscape regarding immigration.
I think that is probably, I'm not your average director. Not your average director. Average director.
You need to shut the fuck up.
Newsflash, James, Superman has always had political undertones. We don't need you in front of a camera trying to score some of those delicious virtue signaling points, you dick. Anyway, I don't give a shit about all that. I'm just here to answer one question. Is Superman 2025 any good? Let's talk about it.
Say what again? Say what again? Say what again? Say what again?
First things first, since this film is a pretty hot topic right now, I'm gonna do my best to stay as far away from spoilers as I can. No promises, my sarcastic asshole nature tends to get the best of me sometimes, but I'm gonna try my damnedest to keep all that in check.
I don't believe you.
This video is also an open discussion. I'm not gonna hold or delete any comments, so let your thoughts fly, and I'll respond to any and every one that I can. Alright, let's get into this. Oh, wait, hang on. If you wouldn't mind, throw a like up on the review, because just like the Hollywood Chills, the YouTube algorithm fucking hates me, and every bit helps.
Here I come. Oh, here I come. Oh.
So at its core, Superman 2025 serves as an introduction to not only the character of Superman himself, but the greater DCU as a whole. There's Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor doing his typical I hate Superman cause reasons thing, except without the Jolly Ranchers this time.
It's Cherry.
There's the Justice Gang, comprised of Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner and his shitty haircut. Dina from The Last of Us Part 2, except there's no vomit-inducing lesbian storyline, and she's got wings. And there's Eddie Gathegi as Mr. Terrific, but for the life of me, all I could see when he was on screen was Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder.
What you getting at with the book script? Spit that shit out, man!
I don't know, man. Just work with me here. Anyway, this film is a story about a superpowered, damn near omnipotent being trying to find his place in a world where the governments fear him, the people don't understand him, all the while trying to do what he believes is best for mankind and the planet. This becomes increasingly difficult as Lex Luthor, the Engineer, Ultraman, and corrupt dictators team up to try and ruin his image, destroying the legacy his parents wanted for him along the way. That's as spoiler-free as I can get it. That's the plot of Superman.
Right.
And you know, I kind of find myself conflicted here. On one hand, I actually prefer the dark, gritty, grounded approach that DC films have been known for most of my life. But on the other hand, if you're going to do a bright, comical, energetic film for a superhero, Superman is as ideal as you get. Seriously though, if James Gunn tries this same shit with Batman, I'm going to find his house, steal all of his TV remotes, and proceed to drive by his house every week and turn whatever the hell he's watching off. As I was saying, Superman 2025 has James Gunn written all over it, and by that I mean it has the familiar story and tone beats of films like Guardians of the Galaxy and Suicide Squad, the decent one, not the shitty one.
Honka, honka!
There's lighthearted humor, quirky hero team-ups, entire scenes where the music is cranked up to 1,000 and there's CGI shit flying all over the screen, and of course, everything is bright as all hell. As a matter of fact, take everything Snyder ever did with the DCEU and think of the exact polar opposite of that. Now, that might sound like a positive to a lot of people, and to be fair, I thought so too, until it wasn't. This film tries so goddamn hard to distance itself from everything that came before it that at times, it comes across as overcorrecting and jarring. One moment we're cracking jokes over how shitty of a dog Crypto is in a fun, brightly lit scene, and then we're transported to a dark, gritty sequence about government espionage and one country trying to invade and rule over the other. Now, I'm not saying Superman isn't funny, because at times it is, but for every moment where the film got a hearty chuckle out of me, there was another moment that made me roll my eyes. Because tonally speaking, this just wasn't Superman.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean is that this isn't Star-Lord, alright? This isn't Drax or Groot or Rocket. This is Superman, and that same humor with those characters just feels out of place here. Hang on, speaking of being out of place, James Gunn seemed like he didn't quite know what to do with Superman as a solo hero. So he's thrown in a bunch of other superheroes, and what could have been a more in-depth character study of what makes Superman tick turned into an odd buddy cop kind of thing. Mr. Terrific shares most of the screen time with Superman, and for what it's worth, Eddie Gathegi did a fantastic job as the character, managing to be brooding, stoic, and overly nerdy all at the same time. But just like Guy Gardner and his shitty haircut and not lesbian Dina, I didn't really give a damn about any of them. We don't get to know who they are, what drives them, or how they got their powers. There's no lore, no explanation of how they became a team in the first place. There's no exploration of their relationship with Superman. They just randomly pop up during a fight with a giant lizard thing and stick around to do whatever the plot needs them to.
Fuck.
And then there's Crypto. As much as I love the little guy, he served two main purposes in this film: to be a source of humor, or just to help push the narrative along. That's it.
Fuck.
And I think that's the central issue with Superman 2025. It just feels generic. It's a film we've seen dozens of times now, with nothing to really make it stand out when it should stand out. After all, this is supposed to mark the beginning of a brand new comic book cinematic universe. As for Corrin Sweat as Superman and Brosnan as Lois Lane, I didn't hate their performances, and I think they did well with the material that they're given, but the thing is, they're not given much. James Gunn should have laid his pride aside and brought in a more straight-laced, to-the-point kind of director who was capable of properly displaying the heroic themes of good and kindness that Superman is known for, instead of all this bullshit, borderline slapstick humor, effortless one-liners, and eye-bleedingly horrible CGI spectacle. I mean, seriously, I'm all for things looking like a comic book, but quite a few sections of this film look so oversaturated that they come across cheap and plasticky. I also really enjoy how Gunn came out and said that they weren't going to do that weird fisheye flying camera angle thing, but what do you know? They did the shit anyway.
You sit on a throne of lies.
So, what's my final thoughts on Superman 2025? Are we happy?
You were saying something about best intentions?
Look, I think James Gunn was really trying here, but the thing is, he tried too fucking hard. It brought out all of his bad tendencies as a director and slapped them up there on the screen in a horrendous fashion. And Superman doesn't deserve that. However, as much as I want to say that I hate this film, I don't, because my family and I had quite a bit of fun with it at times, but those times were very few and far between. Is it better than the films Warner Brothers has been sharding out over the last 10 years? Yeah, sure, but just because it's better than the cinematic equivalent of a cancer diagnosis doesn't mean it's good by any stretch of the imagination. That leaves Superman being something he shouldn't be. Disgustingly mid. Not great, not bad, just mid. Anyway, I appreciate y'all for checking out my review. I'll talk to y'all later.